You wake up every day and have that coffee full of sugar, or maybe some toast with butter. But you never stop to think that there is something you can take before all of that, on an empty stomach with just one spoonful, that can completely change what happens inside your body throughout the day. And the most ironic part? Most people who have this ingredient at home are using it completely wrong. They are literally throwing away most of the benefits without even knowing it. Today, you are going to discover 5 effects that happen in your body when you take 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil on an empty stomach every single day. And one of them, specifically the 5th one, is the one people talk about the least, and it is probably the most important of all. Extra virgin olive oil is not a fad. It has been studied for decades. The most solid scientific evidence from the last 20 years, including the famous PREDIMED study conducted with over 7,000 people, repeatedly points to the same benefits. But there is a detail that very few people take into account. When you consume it makes all the difference. Taking it on an empty stomach before anything else allows the bioactive compounds of the oil, especially the polyphenols and oleic acid, to be absorbed much more efficiently by your body. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 5 science-proven benefits of what happens when you adopt this daily habit. I will also show you the timeline, what happens in your body on the first day, the first week, and the first month. And at the end, I will give you the exact step-by-step guide on how to do it the right way, because doing it the wrong way, like most people do, cancels out a good part of the effects. Stay until the end, because the 5th benefit will change the way you look at this habit. Before we continue, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. This type of content takes a long time to research and put together properly, and the algorithm only shows it to more people when you like, share, and subscribe. So if you want this video to reach someone who needs it, a family member, a friend with high cholesterol, someone struggling with weight, hit the like button now. It is literally an act of care. Let's go to the first benefit. And here is a point that might be the most important of all, and one that most people completely ignore. Most of the chronic diseases destroying people's health today, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, certain types of cancer, have one thing in common. They start with something doctors call low-grade chronic inflammation. It is an inflammation you don't feel. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't show up in a simple blood test, but it is there, silently damaging tissues, vessels, and organs over the years. And here's the point that changes everything. Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal. Researchers at the University of Philadelphia discovered that oleocanthal acts similarly to ibuprofen in the body, inhibiting the same inflammatory enzymes known as COX-1 and COX-2. Obviously, not with the same intensity as a medication, but in a consistent daily way. I talked to a 54-year-old man who had lived with joint pain for years. He said he was doing everything right. Anti-inflammatories when it got worse, gym 3 times a week. But in practice, he was ignoring the slow fire burning inside his body every day. 3 months after incorporating olive oil on an empty stomach, he told me his joint pain had decreased in a way he didn't expect. That is the oleocanthal, working in silence every day. And why on an empty stomach? Because without other foods competing for absorption, the polyphenols reach the bloodstream in a more concentrated and faster way. If you mix it with food, part of that effect is diluted. But oleocanthal is just the beginning. The next benefit directly affects something that kills more than 17 million people a year worldwide, and most people have no idea that you can work on this with something as simple as a spoonful of oil. Here is something that goes against what many people have learned. The fat in olive oil does not raise bad cholesterol. On the contrary. Extra virgin olive oil is composed of about 73% oleic acid, a monounsaturated fatty acid that researchers repeatedly associate with a reduction of oxidized LDL, which is the most dangerous form of bad cholesterol. Additionally, it helps raise HDL, the cholesterol considered protective. The PREDIMED study, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, one of the most respected journals in the world, followed over 7,000 adults at high cardiovascular risk. The group that consumed extra virgin olive oil regularly showed a 30% reduction in the risk of major cardiovascular events, such as heart attacks and strokes. 30%. That is not a small amount, and that is from a food. Not a medicine, not a surgery. A food consumed consistently and correctly. On an empty stomach specifically, oleic acid has faster access to the liver, which is where much of the cholesterol regulation happens. This boosts the effect. But the heart isn't the only organ that benefits in a surprising way. The next one on the list is one you probably would never associate with olive oil, and it is exactly where the latest science is producing fascinating discoveries. There is a protein called BDNF, short for brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which works like fertilizer for the brain. It stimulates the formation of new neurons, protects existing ones, and is directly associated with memory, focus, and mood. Studies indicate that the polyphenols present in extra virgin olive oil, especially oleuropein and hydroxytyrosol, are associated with increased levels of BDNF. And this is relevant because one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's is precisely the progressive drop in this protein. An Italian researcher published a report on a group of elderly people who participated in a follow-up study on the Mediterranean diet. What caught people's attention wasn't just the reduction in inflammatory markers, it was the improvement in short-term memory tests after 6 months. Something as simple as remembering where they put their keys. It sounds like a little thing, but for those living with that anxiety, it is life-changing. Now pay attention to this. Olive oil also contains squalene and vitamin E, both with antioxidant properties that help protect neurons from oxidative stress. The brain is extremely vulnerable to this damage because of its high metabolic rate. Protecting it with daily antioxidants is literally a long-term investment. However, there is a benefit that is even more surprising, and it touches on something that affects people's quality of life in a way that goes far beyond what is seen on the outside. You have probably heard about gut health. But what most people don't know is that extra virgin olive oil, taken on an empty stomach, acts in a very specific way in the digestive tract, even before any food interferes. First, it stimulates the production of bile by the liver, and it's released by the gallbladder. Bile is essential for the digestion of fats and for the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. More efficient bile production first thing in the morning prepares your digestive system for the rest of the day. Second, the phenolic compounds in olive oil have a proven prebiotic effect, meaning they feed the beneficial bacteria in the gut, such as lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. A healthy microbiome is associated with stronger immunity, a more stable mood, and even more effective weight control. And here is something few people consider. If you ignore gut health, the problem keeps getting worse in silence. Inflammation, poor nutrient absorption, mood swings, all of this has roots in the gut. Taking care of it with something as simple as olive oil on an empty stomach is one of the most accessible interventions there is. But save the best for last. The fifth benefit is the one that surprises people the most when they hear it for the first time. And it is probably exactly what you needed to hear. This one generates the most surprise. Because most people, when they think of fat, think, this is going to make me fat. And then they ignore olive oil or use it in minimal amounts out of fear. If you do that, you will probably keep doing it the wrong way, like 90% of people do. Here is the mechanism. Oleic acid, when consumed on an empty stomach, stimulates the production of two hormones linked to satiety, GLP-1 and PYY. These hormones signal to the brain that you are full, which naturally reduces the amount of food eaten in the following hours. Studies published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that participants who consumed extra virgin olive oil before meals ate fewer total calories throughout the day, without any additional restrictive diet. A 47-year-old patient told me she had tried everything: low-carb diets, calorie counting, intermittent fasting, and she was doing it all with a lot of effort. When she added olive oil on an empty stomach and began to notice she felt less hungry during the day, she said it felt like cheating. It wasn't cheating, it was physiology. In addition to satiety, extra virgin olive oil has a documented role in regulating blood glucose. It slows down gastric emptying, which means the glucose from the following foods enters the bloodstream more gradually, preventing those insulin spikes that, when repeated, lead to the accumulation of belly fat. This is crucial. You don't need to eat less through willpower. You need to create the hormonal conditions so that your body wants to eat less. Olive oil on an empty stomach is one of those conditions. It's worth reinforcing. Nothing we've talked about here is speculation or an internet anecdote. The PREDIMED study, published in 2013 and replicated with methodological corrections in 2018, is one of the largest randomized clinical trials on diet ever conducted. 7,400 participants followed for almost 5 years. The results were clear. A Mediterranean diet with extra virgin olive oil reduces major cardiovascular events by 30%. Researchers at Temple University in Philadelphia published studies isolating oleocanthal and documenting its anti-inflammatory mechanism. It isn't folklore, it is biochemistry. Studies from the University of Navarra and the Karolinska Institute published data on the effects of olive oil polyphenols on cognitive function and neuroprotection. That said, no food replaces medical follow-up. If you have diagnosed health conditions, use this information as a supplement to the guidance of your health professional, not as a replacement. Now I'm going to show you what happens in your body over time when you start this habit. Pay attention, because many people give up before seeing results, and they usually give up at the wrong time. On the first day, there is no noticeable change yet, but internally, bile production is stimulated. The digestive system starts the day prepared. In the first week, many people report longer-lasting satiety in the morning, less hunger mid-morning. Some notice improvement in bowel movements. After 1 month of consistency, inflammatory markers start to move. Reductions in CRP levels, C-reactive protein, were observed in studies after 4 to 6 weeks. Oxidized LDL starts to drop. The microbiota begins to diversify in a favorable way. From the 3rd month on, the benefits consolidate. Better balanced blood pressure in some cases. Sharper cognition. A downward trend in weight for those who maintained the habit. And here is the point that changes everything. The benefits are cumulative. 1 day does nothing. 30 days make a difference. 1 year transforms. Now for the step-by-step. And pay attention to the mistakes, because they are what separate those who get results from those who think it doesn't work. Use only extra virgin olive oil. Not regular olive oil, not light versions, not extra virgin type. Only extra virgin cold pressed. 1 tablespoon, 15 milliliters, on an empty stomach in the morning before any other food or drink, even before coffee. Wait 20 to 30 minutes before eating. Store it in a dark bottle away from light and heat. Mistake number 1, using low-quality olive oil. Most people are literally wasting the oil they buy. If the price is way below average, if there is no harvest date on the label, it is probably a diluted or refined product. You could be canceling out 90% of the benefits without knowing it. Mistake number 2, taking it with coffee. Coffee with sugar or milk interferes with the absorption of polyphenols. Olive oil on an empty stomach must be the first item of the day, without exception. Mistake number 3, using old olive oil. After opening, consume it within 2 months. Progressive oxidation reduces polyphenols and can generate harmful compounds. Mistake number 4, and this is the most fatal, expecting results in 3 days. People try it for a week, don't notice anything dramatic, and stop. The documented benefits appear with consistency over weeks to months, not days. If you ignore this, the problem continues, and you will continue without the results that science shows are possible. So let's recap. A spoonful of extra virgin olive oil on an empty stomach can contribute, with consistency, to the reduction of chronic inflammation, to the improvement of cardiovascular markers, to brain protection, to gut health, and to weight control and satiety. All of this based on published science. All of this with a simple and accessible habit. The information in this video is for educational purposes and is based on published scientific studies. It does not replace the guidance of a doctor or nutritionist. If you have health conditions, consult your professional before making changes to your dietary routine. If this video opened your eyes, and if you are now going to look differently at that bottle of olive oil in your kitchen, then do one thing for me. Hit the like button now. Not because it's a formality, but because it helps this video reach people who are struggling with inflammation, high cholesterol, failing memory, or weight that won't come off, and who may have never heard any of this before. Subscribe to the channel too. Every week there is content exactly like this, based on science, no fluff, no empty promises. And tell me in the comments, did you already have the habit of taking olive oil on an empty stomach? Or are you going to start now? I want to know where you are on this journey. Until the next video.